Okay, so welcome. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to our live sharing session today with ACC Global Indonesia. And today I'm Yunela here with Desmond Wong from Australian Catholic University. We will talk more about this university we call ACU in short. So we will refer Australian Catholic University as ACU during this talk. There will be a lot of plenty of information that will benefit you today. But before we start our conversation, let's just watch a video about the ACU. Okay, that was a beautiful campus you have there, Desmond.
Yep, thank you. Yes, sorry,
Yes.
continue.
That's fine. So yeah, friends, we have Desmond Wong here, regional manager of Australian Catholic University. I think you're now in Melbourne, Desmond. How's pandemic treating you so far?
Yes. So, hello everyone. Welcome to this session. Yes, I am Melbourne-based. So, well, the situation in Australia at the moment is looking really positive. Everything here in Australia has pretty much returned to normal. And also we have started, the Australian government has started rolling out the vaccination program. So pretty soon, everyone in Australia will be vaccinated as well.
That's great. So to our audience here, our friends, if you have any questions along our conversation, please just feel free to type your questions in the comment box, so we will be able to answer your questions later on. So perhaps before, just to start with, Desmond, do you want to just introduce ACU to our audience today?
Yeah, sure, definitely. So I guess for anyone out there who hasn't come across ACU or the Australian Catholic University before, so ACU, we are one of the government funded universities here in Australia. So we are one of the public universities in Australia. And also, even though we're called a Catholic university, the difference with ACU, I guess, compared to, I guess, what you would normally perceive of a Catholic university, say in Indonesia, is that we are open for all students. So we're open for students from all faiths, all beliefs, and all backgrounds. And, you know, we are a public university. So ACU actually has a very long history in terms of being an education institute. So the origins of ACU actually goes back about 150 years to about 160 years. So ACU, well, the reason we're called a Catholic Church university is because ACU was started by the Catholic Church here in Australia. So they established these training colleges mainly for teachers and nurses at the beginning. So back in about 1857. And then in 1991, so 30 years ago, these training colleges merged to become formally a university. So we formally became ACU back in 1991. And then, yeah, and we've been one of the fastest growing universities here in Australia since. We have a student population of about 33,000 students across our campuses. And then we also have a relatively low percentage of international students, which is very good news. So we only have about 12% international students. So the vast majority of our students are local students. So you definitely know that if you choose to come and study at ACU, you'll be able to mix and get to, make friends and make contacts with, local students, which is very important in terms of your university experience. And also, I guess, very importantly, is that we are a world-ranked university as well. So ACU, according to the Times Higher Education World University Rankings, we are ranked in the top 300 universities in the world. So that places us in the top 2% of universities in the world.
That's great. You mentioned about because you have a long history in teaching and nursing. Is it your actually flagship programs, or what do you have to offer actually as an ACU?
Yep. So ACU, we've definitely branched out from, I guess, our origins, which was, I guess, focusing on, I guess, health sciences like nursing and education. Of course, these are still, I guess, two areas where we perform very strongly, simply because we have such a long history and association with those specializations. But also at ACU, we offer other courses in business, in law, also in IT. So we have a wide variety of courses at ACU, all the way from health sciences to education, and also to law, IT. So there is a wide variety of programs available for students if you are thinking about coming over to ACU.
So you based in Melbourne, right? But I know that you have several campuses as well. Is it around Australia, or do you have any other in other countries, perhaps?
Yes. So I guess a point of difference, I guess, with ACU compared to your typical Australian university is that we are a national university as well. So we have campuses spread across all different cities throughout Australia. So we have one campus in Brisbane, which is the capital city of Queensland, so the third largest city in Australia. We have 3 campuses in Sydney now. So we have one in North Sydney, one in Strathfield, and one in Blacktown, which just started this year. So I guess everyone would know Sydney. So Sydney is, of course, the biggest city here in Australia. We have a campus in Canberra as well, which is in the Australian Capital Territory. In Victoria, we've got 2 campuses, so one in Melbourne. So for myself, I'm based in the Melbourne campus. We also have a smaller campus in Ballarat, which is a regional town in Victoria. And we actually also have a campus in Adelaide as well. However, we don't offer any programs for international students at the Adelaide campus. So so I guess what's the benefit of having so many different campuses? Well, the benefit is that when you come and study at ACU, if you are studying a program, say business, where we offer it in Sydney, in Melbourne, and in Brisbane, you could transfer campuses if you so desire to do so. So, if you want to experience living in the different cities in Australia, you can do that. You could perhaps study 1 year in Sydney, 1 year in Melbourne, 1 year in Brisbane. Why not? For a 3-year program, for example. So our programs are all based on a national curriculum. So if you do go for a campus transfer, there's no interruptions to your studies. You basically, pick up your studies from where you left, from your original, ACU campus. Then you just continue in the other campus. So that's a benefit as well.
Would that be as easy as streamline, changing from one campus to another? Do you think, usually it depends on whether the courses is available in that campus. Right?
Yes. Yeah. So I guess there are a few factors. So if you do take up the option of, switching campuses, I guess the first thing is to make sure, the campus you're looking at transferring to actually offers the same program that you're studying. So that's probably the most important factor. And
Mm-hmm.
then I guess the other factors to be considered then would be, I guess, ensuring that, your academic performance have been sound. So, say, for example, you've done a semester or a year, in the campus, say Sydney, and just to make the faculty or the academics normally want to make sure they'll look at your results to see how you've been progressing. So as long as you've passed everything, you're coping well with your studies, and then the third thing would be, obviously, there's vacancy for you to fit you into that program, in that new campus that you want to go to. So these are normally the three things to consider when you're looking at switching campuses.
Because I know that everybody is forced to do everything at home. Is the online courses going in ACU? Whether it's
Yes.
onshore or offshore?
Yeah, so I guess we are offering courses online if students do wish to kind of commence their studies from offshore first, and then once the borders open, then come into Australia. So, most of our courses in education and also in business, and also some of our, I think, our arts related courses. These courses are available online for students to commence first from offshore. However, I'm aware that, with the health science related courses, those ones, unfortunately, students cannot
Because you have to
commence
be
from
there
online.
doing all the
That's
practice, correct?
yeah. Because the thing, I guess, with health science courses is that, even in your first year, there are certain classes where you have to be learning in a lab, in a laboratory. So because you can't actually physically access these facilities, that's why, you can't carry out those studies online. So that would be the way to go. But for those, I guess, students who are already in Australia, I guess for us, for this semester anyway, we're still running like a mixed mode of learning. So there will be some classes still online, and some classes where the students will be able to attend on campus as well.
You talk about living in the campus.
Yep.
There will be, do you have students accommodation, or in the complex of the campus, or usually have it around the campus?
Yep. So for ACU, we have our own student residence. The main one is located in Sydney. Now, as you might know, as I mentioned, we have three campuses in Sydney. So for our student residence, it's located kind of in the middle, I guess, between the three campuses. So it's located in a suburb in Sydney called Camperdown, which is actually very close to the University of Sydney, which is also very close, very central to many parts of Sydney. So for that particular student residence, that's where it's located in Sydney. In Brisbane and also in Melbourne, we don't have our own student accommodation in those cities. However, we do work with a local company, like an Australian company that specializes in providing student accommodation called Igloo. So they are very well known for their student accommodation services. So we work with them so that if you do want, a student type of accommodation when you're studying in those two cities, you can choose to stay at Igloo, and you can also get some better pricing because you're an ACU student, because we worked out a special package with them for our students. In terms of the smaller campuses in Canberra and in Ballarat, we also, for those campuses, we have our own student residence in those cities and towns as well. So basically, it's more like just houses that we've converted into student residence, and they're basically like right next to the campus.
That would be very convenient for students.
It'd be very convenient.
Especially if you have a morning class.
Oh yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Roll out of bed and then put your clothes on and then off you go to class.
I know. All right,
Yeah.
I think we have a accommodation video to show to our audience today.
Mhm.
Let's just watch. I think that's a nice way to show our friends here to understand. I mean, the idea of living in a campus accommodation, because
Mhm.
some might ask whether, do I have to live in the dormitory?
Mhm.
Because of the kind of lot of movies that we watch. you know. So yeah,
Yes.
that would be actually today's, the the modern way of living on campus. You
Mhm.
actually
Mhm.
basically have all facilities there
Yep.
ready for you. And then that's right,
Mhm.
the morning class, just wake up and then off the bed, then you'll be
Mm.
in the class at the end in the morning, right?
Mm. Mm. Mm.
I think we have a question here.
Yep. Mhm.
Perhaps we can try to
Yep.
accommodate it. How to apply a master's by research program
Research.
at
Mhm.
ATU, and
Mhm.
do you actually help them to find a professor?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Okay, yeah. So the research programs, I guess the approach when you apply for it is, I guess, a little bit different compared to applying for like a
Mhm.
coursework program. So actually, on our website, we do actually list
Mhm.
the profiles of all the potential supervisors at ACU. That will list their details, what sort of research areas they're focusing on or what sort of specializations they have. So normally for me, my tip for students who are interested in applying for research is to check it out because it's all there. It's all published on the website.
Mhm.
Have a look because obviously, I guess the main thing when it comes to undertaking research studies is that the research that you have in mind, that the research that you want to undertake actually has a matching supervisor from that university, that could support you in your research. So that's normally my number one tip. Check out the website, check out the selection of supervisors available at ACU, see if there's any of them that you think could match or your research undertakings, and also on the website there's also lots of really good information as well, because obviously when you apply,
Mhm.
you also need to prepare certain documents like a research proposal, for example. And then it has all the guidelines, how to prepare your research proposal and all that. So yeah, some really good I guess information, really valuable information on the website. So normally that's how we encourage applications to happen. Have a look, and then because even with the supervisors, they also put up their contact details. So, if you feel, I want to get in touch with this particular professor and, have a discussion about, maybe what you have in mind or your idea for your research, you could even do that as well. So normally we kind of encourage that approach, so that, hopefully then, there's a connection, and then things can be taken forward.
Yeah, I think approach them with a ready research proposal. That would be the first step to do. Yeah. I think we have a next questions. Another one about the program. Is there any course related to GIS? I think it's a geographical information system, if I'm not mistaken. But Turi, if I'm wrong, then perhaps you can type it. What do you mean with the GIS?
That's interesting.
How is it related to the information system?
Information system. So I mean, for us, we do have our IT program. So we have both our bachelor's of IT program and also our master's of IT program as well. So generally speaking, for our IT courses, we focus, I guess, on a few particular areas. So particularly, we do have information system. So that is one available option or specialization of students interested in that. We also focus on other areas such as cybersecurity, big data, and also artificial intelligence. So these are kind of the main areas that we're focusing on. Not specifically GIS, I guess, but if you're happy with information system, we definitely offer that in our IT program.
Okay, talk about the program. Know that you are, very strong in the nursing, and in the circumstances of Indonesian, that usually they did the D3 or diploma in nursing, and then looking into the bachelor degree. How is it to apply to ACU? Because I know that the standard might be different, and then it's not, not really equivalent to Australian standard as well. What we do in Indonesia. What do you usually advise the students that looking into top up to bachelor degree of nursing in ACU?
Yeah. So look, I guess if you have already nursing qualification, nursing license, and even work experience back in Indonesia, and you're interested in continuing or getting a nursing qualification here in Australia, so at ACU we offer a bachelor's of nursing program. So, and that's also a program. When you finish it, you can actually use it to go and apply for nursing registration here in Australia. So keep that in mind. So, if that's maybe your target, it can allow you to do that. So normally it's a 3-year program, but so that's the full program is 3 years. But if you do have this nursing background, so like I said, you've got a diploma qualification in nursing, you've got a nursing license in Indonesia, and you have work experience as well. What you can do is, even when you apply for this program, our Bachelor's of Nursing program, you can be considered for credit as well. So for our faculty, if you are approved credit, we can give maximum up to 1 year credit. So if you do get the 1 year credit, it just means you only need to study 2 years of our Bachelor's of Nursing program. And then after you finish that program, if you want to apply for your nursing registration, then the next step there is you have to get an English proficiency score. So for example, take IELTS again, get IELTS 7, minimum 7 in each band. So together with the IELTS score and your nursing degree from ACU, you can just use that and apply for your Australian nursing registration.
Okay, so there's actually a lot of possibility to transfer. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
I think we have next questions to answer.
Yep.
Question, please. Yeah. For master degrees, then internship or work placement, perhaps embedded in the program.
Yes. So pretty much I would say yes. So, even though you're studying a master degree program and the duration is normally shorter, normally they're 2 years, there are certainly still components of like, internship or placements incorporated into the program. Now, this does include many of our courses. So even for our business and IT master's degree programs, we offer internship in these programs. Otherwise, if you are thinking about doing like a Masters of Teaching program, we certainly have placements for that program as well. Because again, it is a program that leads to teacher registration. So placements are actually part of the requirements in order for you to obtain a qualification that will allow you to apply for teacher registration here in Australia. So it is. And I guess one point of difference with ACU as well is that we do focus a lot on, giving students the opportunity to go and do internships or to take on placements, because we feel that's very important as part of your education process. It's not all about the theory. It's important to learn the theory, but to actually apply it in the workplace, that's what we want to get our students used to as well.
And it will be really benefit when after graduation they can apply for the graduate visa as well. So I think they can use up their experience to find a job.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, for us, I guess we've been recognized as being the #1 university in Australia when it comes to graduate employment outcomes, and also #1 when it comes to, I guess, companies out there recognizing the quality of the graduates that comes out from ACU. So for us, it really comes down to about being able to offer our students these opportunities. And also, if you do well when you go out for your placements and things like that, for a lot of our students, they do actually, some of them, end up working or finding work or continuing, into like a full-time employment with these companies where they did their internships.
That's great. I think we have next questions. Any specific significant amount of scholarship master research student from ACU? I think we haven't covered this scholarship though. You want to just tell us what you have to offer about this scholarship in ACU?
Yep. So scholarships, I guess, just to address this question, I guess with research scholarships, it can work a little bit different. So I guess we do have a few scholarships available for international students, normally if they're going for like a coursework program, and I can definitely talk a bit more about that. But if you are looking at doing a research program, usually what happens is, if you're able to get accepted, so that means, you've identified a supervisor that will, support you and accept you into the research program. Sorry, that's my daughter. The perks of working from home. Sorry about that. So what happens is the supervisors will actually have access to funding. Funding, whether it's from government organizations or it's from private organizations, and these fundings, they can actually then allocate to you as a scholarship. So so I've seen actually quite a few research students that has come to ACU that's been accepted into like our PhD program, and they've got allocated 100% scholarship for their PhD program, basically. So that's what tends to happen in terms of scholarships for research programs. But if it's for I guess normal coursework programs, we've got two main scholarships at the moment. So the first one is if students are looking to study like a business or a IT program, either at an undergraduate or postgraduate level. If you're looking at commencing this year, so maybe say the July intake, there is an automatic scholarship, so $5,000 each year. So that means if you study for a 3-year bachelor degree, you can save $15,000.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to do a 2-year master's, you can save $10,000. So that's one of the scholarships. That's called the Global Excellence Scholarship for Business and IT program. The other one that we have is the International Student Scholarship. So this one is more of a merit-based scholarship. So it's if you have, basically what it looks for is if you have a GPA of at least 80% or more than 80%, then you can use that GPA to try and apply for this scholarship. If you're successful, if you're selected, it means every semester of your studies at ACU. Sorry, I'll just share my screen here. So that's the scholarship page. So the one I'm talking about, you see, is the International Student Scholarship. So if you do receive it, it means every semester you get 50% scholarship from ACU. So that's for the duration of your program. So basically it means your whole program at ACU, 50% of your tuition fees will be covered. So it's just loading at the moment. But for this one, you do have to apply for it separately. So you have to get an offer letter first from ACU. And then depending on which intake you're going to commence your studies, then you apply according to that intake. So if you're going to commence in July, you need to apply for this scholarship in April. You just apply online. Or if you're going to commence in, say, February next year, then you will apply in September this year. So so this one will be a bit more competitive, but if you do have that GPA, it's always worth to give it a try. But for the other one, the Global Excellence Scholarship, the automatic one for Business and IT program, you don't have to apply for it. As long as you are accepted, you receive the offer letter from ACU, it's straight away applied there on your offer letter.
Yeah. How about, because I know that this pandemic caused students to study online, so not really, use up all the facilities that you provide. Is there any reduced fee on that, or perhaps you actually offering them for this global excellence?
The Global Excellence Scholarship still applies, basically. So I guess it depends on each individual case. So I guess for these business or IT students, the Global Excellence Scholarship still applies, even if you decide to commence your studies online first. However, if you do, say, for example, you end up receiving the International Student Scholarship, the 50% scholarship, for that one, it does mean that when you enroll in your unit for the semester, you do have to actually enroll in the 4 units, which is like a full-time study. Because for I guess other students, if they're not a scholarship recipient, it's up to them. So they could maybe say just enroll in 2 units first. But if you are a recipient of like the 50% scholarship, then you do have to actually enroll as like a full-time student, so 4 units for the semester. Yeah.
Okay. I'll probably touch on the, because your name is Australian Catholic University, and you mentioned, of course, you open to all, background and regions.
Yes.
By saying that, how about, because I know the Indonesian is Muslim country as well, so do you actually provide them facilities for them to pray or do their
Yes, definitely. So, even though we're called a Catholic university, I guess in a sense we're just like, any other university in Australia. So in all of our campuses, we do have prayer rooms. So, if you do need to go and pray, these rooms are available throughout all of our campuses. So we make sure we cater for students from all faiths and beliefs. The way I guess I see it with ACU is that, it actually, it benefits all students. So, if you are a Catholic, that's great. we do have small chapels on each campus. So if you want to go to mass, it's there for you, but it's not compulsory. So if you are a student of other faiths, other beliefs, you need to go to pray. We have prayer rooms to cater for these students as well. If you are a student of no faith, then, well, doesn't matter. So it fits everyone. Yeah.
How about the community? Is there any Indonesian community or any students' activity that they can do during the study? Perhaps we call it extracurricular. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we've got lots of student associations, student clubs, or we're also very big into sports. So even sporting clubs. So if students have a passion for a particular sport, we'll probably have a sporting club for that as well. So there are lots of opportunities for students to connect, make new friends through these clubs, get involved, get active. And, it's something we really encourage students to do because, although, yes, study is the number one priority, but at the same time, you do need to get involved with other things to kind of take your mind away a little bit, otherwise all study. That's right. All study, no play. That's not ideal. So it's important to have that balance. And like I said, we've got all these different clubs available across all the campuses. We also have like international student clubs available as well that students can join, and they organize activities, throughout the semesters. So there's always things to get involved with. So we heavily encourage students to get involved.
Yeah, I think to give our friends here the idea of the activities they can do in ACU, we have a video to watch. Let's just play it.
I see her. I see you. And I see her. I see you.
Yeah. We have, I think we covered quite a lot today, Desmond. We have more questions to answer, I think. Let's just see.
Sure.
Okay. Any specific advice for a Bachelor in Public Relations graduate to progress to which program that could eligible for study work visa, I think, in ACU?
Okay, all right. Yeah, look, I think so if you're coming from a PR background, I guess, if you're interested to kind of, study something that's still kind of related, or that could kind of, complement or add to the qualification you already have, I guess I would probably recommend a few. We have our MBA program. So if you want to focus a little bit more, I guess, on the management side, that could perhaps, once you have your qualification, also help you to climb higher, in your career, or, you're looking to climb up the corporate ladder. We do have our MBA program that's available, and that's offered in both our Sydney and Melbourne campus. If you're looking at, perhaps doing something a bit more practical, we also have a Masters of Professional Accounting. So perhaps, you want to add something, another skill, another skill set, in accounting. And our accounting programs are all recognized as well, by the CAA, by CPA. So so that's another option as well. Otherwise, perhaps you want to upskill your IT knowledge and your IT skills. We have a Masters of IT as well, which of course would be very handy, in this present moment or in the world today, very relevant. So all these master degree programs are all 2 years. So
Yeah.
when you study a 2-year program, you're eligible for a post-study work visa after that. So so these would be probably the three that I would recommend.
Yeah, I think
Mm,
if RG is aiming for the post study
mm,
work visa, actually you
mm.
can take any as long
Yeah.
as it's 2 years,
Yes.
and you get another 2 years the graduate visa,
Mm.
and I think it depends also on which campus that he will be studying. Is that correct?
Mhm.
Perhaps with the Ballarat will be longer.
So I guess if it were sticking with these three courses that I just mentioned, so for MBA and for NPA, so Masters of Professional Accounting,
Mhm.
these two are offered in our North Sydney or our Melbourne campus, so you can choose either one of them. If you're looking at the Masters of IT, then at the moment it's only offered in our North Sydney campus. Mm.
Okay.
But I guess if you are studying these programs, I think it's probably a little bit better to study in the bigger cities, because that's where you'll probably end up finding more job opportunities as well, particularly for these type of specializations. Mm.
It depends on the preference, I think. Yeah.
Mm.
Okay, hope that answer your questions, Aji.
Mm.
We have more another
Mm.
questions. Okay, I have a friend in Melbourne. Can he
Mhm.
sponsor me to study at ACU?
Okay,
I think
interesting.
it's okay.
Um, I guess maybe.
Uh, can I answer, perhaps?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, the answer is maybe, because it all depends on
Mm,
the other authority, not us. I
yeah.
think, is that correct? Desmond? Yeah,
Yes.
it's more to the visa application. I
Mm,
think it's Department of Home Affairs.
mm,
They will actually check on your eligibility
mm.
and your. I think I will say that your we call it the genuine temporary
Yes.
entrance. They have a
Yes.
lot of checklists to do.
Yes. Yes.
As long as you met that checklist, that will be
Yeah.
fine, I think. But if
Yeah.
you not taking one, that will be
Mm,
a bit um, challenging to apply.
mm, mm,
Hope that
mm,
answered the questions.
mm,
Okay. Okay. I think that was the last question we have, Desmond.
mhm,
Do you
mhm.
have anything to say to wrap up this session? I believe you share us a lot of information today.
Yeah, so I think it's definitely worthwhile finding out more about ACU. Especially if you're considering about coming over to Australia to study, and there are many reasons for that. For us, like I mentioned at the beginning, we have so many choices of campus that you can choose from. We have a wide variety of offerings. We are a very highly ranked university as well. So we have a very solid reputation for the quality of our education and also for the graduates that we produce.
Mhm.
And also, more importantly as well, our tuition fees are actually very competitive. So
Yeah.
once you do some research, you do some comparisons between our tuition fees to some other universities' tuition fees, I think you would really see the difference. So I think when you choose to study at ACU, you really get good value. For the money that you pay for the tuition fee. And our courses are practical, so you get to apply your skills and your knowledge. So that
Yeah.
is very important.
That's great.
Mm,
Yeah. So, friends, if you have any further questions after this live sharing session, please feel free to contact us at ACC Global Indonesia, especially if you want to try to make application and apply for the scholarship as well. There's a big opportunity for you to get it. just contact us at ACC Global if you have our Instagram or Facebook, or you have our WhatsApp number, or just as easy as Google our website, accglobal.co.ig. So I think that's all for today. Thank you, Desmond, for your time and all the information you shared today. I believe this will be very, fruitful session. Thank you for sharing all information with us today. And I think I'll see you in another session, hopefully.
Definitely. Anytime. Love to do it.
All right. Thank you, Desmond. Stay safe there.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
See you in another
Bye.
session. Bye. Thank you, Desmond. I think you have
No
one-on-one
worries.
with Lani
Yep.
and Donnie. Yeah.
Yep.
You got the link already, right?